Another home defeat. But what does Thomas Frank need to fix? Welcome to Nick's COYS Corner. Before we start, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel and click the bell to receive notifications. So a close game, but one, unfortunately, that we lost at home again. Our home form continues to be awful. That's 4 points from 12 now at home this season in the league. We haven't even played any of the top sides at home yet either. 2 great goals from Villa's perspective, but should we have done better on them? We'll take a look at that shortly. Not the start we wanted with this tough schedule that we've got coming up over the next few weeks. Well, it's a big blow to lose both Udogie and Romero before the match. Obviously, Romero pulling out in the warm-up and losing the pair of them definitely hurt us. I mean, losing Romero's leadership and his ability to pass out from the back. And I think Udogie's been playing really well on the left as well. And we definitely missed him down that side today. I wasn't happy about the Bentancur and Palhinha partnership. I don't think it works. I think more and more fans are kind of saying the same thing now. I don't think it works at all, particularly at home. And so I wasn't really happy about those two being paired together. But I was happy to see Colin Moani make the bench and be fit again. And we really need him to get up to speed quickly to give us more options in attack, because we're definitely lacking up there. Game got off to the perfect start. Another really well-worked goal from off the back of a set piece. Kudus putting in a beautiful cross to the far post. And Palhinha doing really well to head the ball back across goal. Lovely header from him. And then Bentancur in a really good spot to finish and just belt it towards goal. And when you're that close, you're going to put it in. And it took a deflection off someone before it went in. But really, well-worked goal again for us. Lovely ball in from Kudus again. The next 5 or 10 minutes after that, we were okay. We were decent. We dealt with the threat that Villa brought. I mean, they tried quite a few long balls over the top and in behind, but we dealt with them pretty well. But there were some early signs, even from that period, of where we'd struggle in possession and the shape issues that we're having. So you can see our shape in this shot here. And what I've highlighted is the 5 players on the back line, because Bentancur here has dropped in to the defence, right? And he's split the centre-backs. And that's fine, right? That's okay. But when you've also got both fullbacks very, very wide like this, and look at the gap and the space between Spence, Porro and Palhinha. Massive space here. And then look at Xavi. Like almost in a vertical line ahead of Palhinha. And there's just so much space between the back line and the attack. There's so many holes. And the team is very disconnected. And you can see in another shot here, this is where Bentancur receives the ball. And he's pulled to the left to receive it, right? And you can see the space between him and Palhinha. And that's all right. As long as Palhinha comes across and makes himself available, that's fine. But in the next shot, when Van der Ven has passed it to Bentancur, he gets pressured. And yet no one is making a run to come and help us build up and play through midfield and play through Villa's press. Instead, Palhinha's pretty much standing there and there's still a massive gap. Bentancur's under more and more pressure. Spence isn't really making that much of an effort to help. No one else really comes in. Bentancur ends up in this kind of position. And his only option is to pass the ball back to Van der Ven, and he mucks it up and puts it out for a corner, right? And that's poor from him. But look at the pressure he's under. And look at the way the team haven't moved at all in any way to help him play out. There isn't no one has come into this space to give him a little inside pass to try and play around the corner and get out. Instead, the only pass is backwards so that Van der Ven would essentially lump the ball forward. But in this case, it goes out for a corner. This one's a really good example. So this is Xavi doing what a lot of people want him to do, which is come deep to help us progress the ball. So here you've got Spence, Van der Ven, you've got Bentancur has dropped into the back line with Danso and Porro. So you've got 5 people across the back line, and you've got Palhinha and Xavi dropping in. So the ball's going to come from Bentancur into Xavi. Now he's picked it up here. But what's he meant to do with the ball? Because he's dropped off to get it. And you've got Porro, Danso, Bentancur, Van der Ven and Spence all on the back line. So there are 7 players for us in our own half. And then there's just 3 attackers 30 yards away from them. There's nothing on. Porro and Kudus are standing on the same line. So there aren't many angles to play out there. Maybe Kudus should maybe be coming inside here to give Xavi a pass through the lines. But that's not how we play. We hold the width there. So they're very limited in what they can do when players receive the ball. Xavi here has nothing on. He essentially plays it square, a 5-yard pass, and then moves it on. Another example here, again, this time you've got the back 4 and you've got Bentancur and Palhinha. Now, Palhinha receives the ball here. Xavi makes a darting run from behind Villa's midfield. He makes the run ahead of their midfield. You can see him making that run towards Palhinha, comes in for a short pass. Now, he might not be able to go anywhere with it, but what he's trying to do is play a bounce pass. He wants the ball from Palhinha that he can quickly play back, or he can play across to Van der Ven or to Spence to get the ball moving quicker and to create tempo. But instead, Palhinha completely ignores Xavi's run and movement towards the ball, and Palhinha plays it backwards and goes sideways. In this next shot, again, you can see the shape that is causing us so many issues. A back 5, Bentancur is again dropped into the back line. There's Palhinha straight ahead of him, and Xavi straight ahead of him. It's a complete line through the 3 of them. And look at the space. Now, in this kind of situation, you've got a back 3 here with Bentancur splitting Van der Ven and Danso, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. A back 3 is a common shape when you're building up. But the problem is there's so much space between Palhinha and the fullbacks and Xavi. There's no way of us playing through Villa. It has to go round the sides. That's the only option here, is to go down the sides and hope for a ball down the line to Kudus, is basically what our play is going to be. What we should be doing is Spence should be coming in here, and Porro should be coming in here. Kudus can come deeper from wide here, and then actually the back 3 then have several options. Now you've got angles to play out. Now you could have the ball going to Danso. Danso could try and find Porro on the half turn. Xavi could then make a movement up here, and Danso and Porro could try and play a half turn pass into Xavi behind Villa's midfield. Same again, it could come back to Van der Ven. Van der Ven could try and play inside to Spence. Odebear would be the width here. So there's just no movement. It's so rigid, it's so wide that there's so much space in midfield. There's no way to play through. And this is a really good example, I think, of how we could tweak it. You know, even if just one of them came inside slightly, it would create a bit of movement and a bit of rotation. As it stands, they don't do that. And this is the shape we're left with. And there's basically no way of progressing the ball. Again here, there's your back 5 again with Bentancur dropping in. There's Palhinha central in the picture. Same issue. There's just not enough triangles to pass round Villa. It's all horseshoe. Well, we never really gained full control of the match. But what we did do quite well is we nicked the ball quite well a few times. Here's a good example of us winning the ball in that mid-block shape. So Villa get the ball. We've got 4 players here I'm going to focus on that are highlighted, and they're going to really press well and close Villa down as they do here. Palhinha makes a really good challenge in midfield. You've got Tel, Xavi and Bentancur close by. We win the ball. It gets to Tel. He breaks forward. Now Xavi's inside him and Kudus is on the right. You've got Palhinha breaking forward here as well, and Odebear. And in the next frame here, Tel's got to this position. Now this is a really dangerous position for us to potentially score a second goal and start to take the game away from Villa. And we make 2 really bad errors. Odebear makes the first error. His movement is terrible. He comes inside towards Xavi when the obvious run is to go outside Tel, create an overlap, draw one of Villa's defenders away from Tel and create space in the box. And instead he goes inside, and that just congests everything. And it's just a really poor bit of play from Odebear and lack of football intelligence in this particular scenario. When Tel gets it, you can see Odebear's made that run inside, and he should have busted the gut to go outside of him because it would have really helped create more space. But even so, Tel gets into a good position, and Xavi is screaming for the ball, and he's completely unmarked on the edge of the box. Tel squares his man up. He still has Xavi on now, but he does not play the pass to him. Nothing comes of it. We lose it. We don't even get a shot away. So really poor decision making from us there. And that is separate to any of the talk about shape and build up. That is just decision making in the final third and getting it right and making the right runs and the right decisions of when to pass the ball and when to shoot. So that's a really good example there of how we got it wrong in that area. Villa's equaliser was really frustrating because I felt we got really unlucky with the bounce. Xavi actually does really well to engage Rodgers, wins the ball off of him. It falls back to Villa. They continue to build up and keep the ball. But Xavi again is aggressive and tries to intercept. Rodgers tries to play a first-time ball forward. It hits Xavi on the leg, bounces back straight to him, which is incredibly, fortunate for them. And then Xavi's momentum and Rodgers' momentum, it works against us in this example. Rodgers gets round him. And then Pellegrini and Bentancur maybe could have been a bit sharper to come out. But watching it back, it happens quite quickly. So I'm maybe being a little bit harsh in this instance. But the real one for me is whether Vicario can do better, because I've watched it back. And again, now to me, that's quite a central shot. It's not one of those that's looped incredibly high over him either. Look at the height of it. It's not that high. It's very central. He shifted slightly left, which he tends to do, which I don't like. And then I think Vicario should do better here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think he was at fault for this? Again, like with several goals in the recent games? Or am I being too harsh on him? Second half, we started okay. First 10, 15 minutes or so, we were doing all right. We were unlucky not to score through Odobert when he had that shot that got blocked. A couple of other half chances as well, whilst not creating massive openings and not playing particularly fluid. We did create a couple of half openings, but I felt Villa were also starting to become a bit more dangerous. But again, they weren't really creating anything massive either. They weren't creating big openings at all. And obviously, Villa got the second goal, which killed us and ultimately lost us the game. A little bit frustrating because when I watched it back, I think we could have done better here, and I'll show you why. The ball over the top from Cash is really good, to be fair, out to Digne, and Spence is obviously 1-on-2 here. So he's not in a great position for himself through no fault of his own. Digne does really well, knocks the ball back to Buendia. Now you can see here, if I go back to that previous shot, you can see where Bentancur and Pellegrini are. They're coming across. And obviously they can see that Spence is outnumbered. Ball goes inside to Buendia, takes a touch forward. Now here, we've got Bentancur and Pellegrini. They are close enough to at least engage him and get really tight and try to block that shot urgently. But what happens is they're both too passive. And Buendia is able to progress the ball to here and get the shot away. Bentancur has actually retreated into the box. Pellegrini hasn't got close enough either. And between the pair of them, we haven't engaged him. I think watching it, Bentancur is the one mainly at fault. I think he should have really gone after Buendia and got close to him. Because as you can see in this shot here, he has the time to get across and really close him down quickly. And he doesn't. Instead, he retreats. And by retreating, we encourage that shot from range. And yes, I understand we're talking about low XG shots and stuff, but you've got players that are decent from range. Buendia has got a decent strike on him. I just think you're asking for trouble when you could have closed it down and you don't. So yeah, frustrating goal to concede for me. Subs for us came too late. I think Bergvall should be starting matches deeper in midfield. He should not be coming on as a 10 with 15 minutes to go. That's for sure. So that is really frustrating. And I think the subs generally were too late in this match. It was generally a really frustrating defeat against the team I think are pretty average actually. They started the season terribly. Yes, they've got a bit better in recent weeks, but even watching them on the day, they weren't particularly good. They didn't really do much. They scored 2 great goals from distance, but they weren't a great side. And if we'd played with a little bit more bravery, a little bit more risk, I think we would have beaten them, even with the team we had out there. Bravery is a good word. I don't think there's anywhere near enough bravery or risk in our play. In possession, we look way too one-dimensional. We rely heavily on Kudus and just getting the ball, as I said, working it wide to Kudus and hoping he does something magic. And, I just want to show you the passing network from this match because I think it sums it up. So the passing network on screen now, you can see the horseshoe shape and you can see Xavi's basically been completely neglected in his central position. It's pointless playing a number 10 if that's how we're going to play. You might as well play 2 strikers and overload the box. Frank persisting with this Bentancur and Palhinha partnership, I don't like it. I don't think it works particularly well, especially at home. It's really frustrating. But it's not just on those 2 players. And I really want to make that clear here. It's not just their fault, because I think this is instructions from the manager, the way we're playing a lot of it. I don't think either of them are particularly great progressively with their passing, but I think it's being made worse by the way we play. Take a look at this map of Gray and Bergvall against Burnley. Now, I love Gray and Bergvall. I think they're more progressive players. But as you can see from this, they are not too dissimilar to Palhinha and Bentancur in this match. So I have to say, I think it's intentional. It's the way we're trying to play, in which case you have to be careful how much you criticise the individuals. Like I said, I still want to see Bergvall play more and Graham play more, because I think they're more progressive naturally. I think they'll make better runs naturally. But I do think Frank has to take a lot of responsibility, and he has to change this. He has to fix this, because this shape, even with our better players in, with Solanke fit, Maddison, Decky playing, I think we're still going to have major problems. I think, of course, they will make us more effective when we do get into the final third, but we will still have big problems getting to the final third if we don't change this, in my opinion. I also think there was a real lack of tempo and guile in our play. It's not the first time this season. Barely any give and goes, 1-2s, intricate movements. It all feels very isolated. Feels like it's relying on one player to do something magic themselves without players nearby. We saw a couple of signs against Leeds where we actually got close to each other, so it was really frustrating to go back to how we were previously here and be so isolated. Maybe that will come with time, and I can understand that more, the attacking patterns and things like that, with more coaching time. But the build-up shape itself and the way we build up and play, that can change quickly and has to change quickly, because that's causing us a big issue. I just think we need to be closer together, play closer together, to combine, to progress the ball, to create chances. There's so much of our play we ignore runners. Xavi, for example, in the second half, several times he made little runs into space to get the ball and make himself available, and it never came. It didn't even cross our minds to make a pass to him. And it wasn't just that. It's not just him. There's also other examples where we're just not getting our heads up to combine play. It's all very individual, it feels like. Monaco away next. A game we really can't afford to lose in the Champions League. Let's hope for a good result on Wednesday night. We really need it. Let me know what you thought about the Villa match. What are your thoughts on the central midfield pairing, the build-up shape and the issues I've mentioned, and Frank's insistence on not using central progression with the ball? Let me know in the comments below. Please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell to receive notifications. And as always, come on you Spurs!